Would I be the asshole for running with someone against my significant other's wishes? Background. My wife, 30F, and I, 30M, have been married for 7 years. We used to both be very athletic. She was a volleyball player in college and ran track, I lift weights and was in the military. Over the last 3-4 years she has stopped working out and frankly has gained a lot of weight, probably 40-50 pounds. Her appearance is not why I love her and I honestly don't give a shit, I will love her no matter what. I still work out regularly and have maintained my appearance since we started dating a decade ago. Fitness is very important to me personally. Also, I am in graduate school and I spend about 60-80 hours a week on it in class, studying. The conflict. I have been trying to get back into running. I used to really enjoy it, but the military kind of ruined it for me, and decided I want to do a marathon in 2 years. I have trouble self-motivating and do much better when I commit to something verbally and have someone to hold me accountable for training. I told my wife about the goal and asked if she wanted to start running with me. She 100% did not and would not change her mind. I was talking to a female classmate, I am in graduate school, about my goal and trouble self-motivating. The classmate offered to start running with me as she also was trying to get back into running. I tell my wife that a female classmate was willing to go running with me and asked her opinion of it, if I started running with her. She got upset about it and didn't want me to do it. Her reason was, I am already very busy with school and now want to spend time with another girl instead of her. I explained I just wanted to spend time running and that she had said she wouldn't run with me and I like to run with someone. She doesn't want me to do it and would prefer I spent that time with her instead. We generally play video games and watch TV together. I am generally fine with that, but have recently, maybe because I turned 30 recently, have been wanting to live a more active lifestyle. She also did say, she would be more comfortable if it was with a male classmate. She said, what if you start spending all this time with her, running and talking? You might realize wow she's great, better than my wife. So, would I be the asshole if I decided to go running with this female classmate against my wife's wishes? Edit. To address some concerns. My field is dominated by females, 10 125ths classmates are male. None of the ones in my circle are interested in running with me. My classmates are my only friends outside of my wife. The classmate is fully aware I am married and is married herself. I do not like running alone, I find it very hard to self-motivate. Edit 2. My wife works a high-stress job so in her free time she wants to relax, totally understandable. I get antsy when I play too many games, watch too much TV. I have tried several different tactics to convince her to go running. She isn't interested at all so I've stopped trying to convince her as I do not think it's fair to push her into something she doesn't want to do. She also gets jealous when I message female classmates, even if it's about school stuff. I can understand why she would be worried, given the amount of time you already spend away from her at school. I would personally find a male running partner instead. Your wife probably feels very insecure about you finding another female to run with since she won't. She might even feel bad about her weight, appearance and would get into something active with enough encouragement but maybe something other than running. Either way, you should pursue running the marathon, but you'd kinda be the asshole if you ran with your in-shape female classmate. Not the asshole your wife admitted this is about the colleague being a woman and not about you spending time with her instead. She really needs to either deal with her insecurity or put on her running shoes and go with you herself. It sounds like she has lost self-confidence and it's concerned about her appearance and your possibility of cheating because of spending time with this other girl who is in better shape than her. Why WBTA here if you did it anyway? You really need to sit down with her and talk in depth of you haven't as to why she is so against running with you now, as you used to together. What changed? Is there anything you can do to help her feel like doing it again? Maybe get a treadmill for the house so you can run and be with her? Why WBTA? Your wife is entitled to her fears and you should definitely respect them. Either run by yourself or find a male running partner. It's not that hard. You are the asshole. Find a male partner or run alone. The amount of YT is weird to me. Your wife is super freaking insecure. You should bring up marriage counseling because there is no reason that she should have for you to not run with a female unless you've been unfaithful in the past. Not the asshole. You are the asshole if a spouse says they are uncomfortable with a situation. The reasons do not matter. You either agree to respect your spouse and their wishes or you don't. Not the asshole. But don't do it. The story she's going to tell herself is that this is some form of cheating. It's going to cause you major headaches. Am I the asshole for not wanting to invite my future mother-in-law to our wedding? My boyfriend and I were recently talking about what we wanted for our wedding and expectations we have. We've been dating for 4 years and want to get married after college. I've spoken to him and told him several times that I didn't want to invite his mom to our wedding for various reasons. In my opinion, she's a good person and I have no problems with her. The reasons I didn't want to invite her are from past actions that almost cost my boyfriend and I our relationship. For example, in high school my best friend dated him and I was jealous because I liked him as well. I slipped a cuss word at an event between my best friend and him with his mom standing behind me telling my friend to hurry up and come on. I was being an immature brat and I realized that I made a mistake because usually I'm not like that. After this event his mom never forgot it. My friend broke up with him and we started dating after I asked my best friend if I could. His mom made us break up after realizing what I said a year prior. After that we secretly date until his mom approved of me. Now to the reasons I don't want to invite her. Firstly, I feel as if his mom didn't have any good intentions for our relationship until this past year. Before that we had to sneak around and make sure she never found out about our relationship. We stayed away from each other when his mom was around and couldn't hang out much in high school until she approved. When it comes to her household she is the one who runs it. In my opinion his mom can be overbearing at times. Another reason I don't want to invite her is because of the possibility of her objecting to my planning. His mom can sometimes be controlling and because of this I don't want her to try to pay for my wedding just to have it her way. When she doesn't get something her way she hides in her room and ignores everyone. It's almost like a tantrum and her household is always on edge to not upset her. Even my boyfriend agrees she can be a bit much so she's not Karen level as she can be understanding when she's wrong. My boyfriend and I have agreed that when it comes to his mom and him he has no backbone and won't tell her no because of fear. I have told him that if his mom were to interfere with our wedding and I have to tell her no then it would be upsetting as that's his mom and I don't want to have to deal with her if something were to happen like this. Lastly, my boyfriend and I can agree my family is loud and obnoxious compared to his composed family. I have a lot of family and they can be chaotic. My boyfriend doesn't like certain people in my family for this reason because he grew up in a household that is composed and quiet. I don't want his mom to take a look at my family and hate them because they're the exact opposite of her family. My boyfriend and I are polar opposites when it comes to upbringing and class status. My boyfriend and I thought maybe we could sit her down and talk to her about what we expected, to see if it would help. I'm open to this idea. Am I the asshole to not want to invite her? You are the asshole. There's people in your family who are loud and obnoxious that your boyfriend doesn't like because of that. So, instead of not inviting those people, you decide you don't want to invite his mother in case she doesn't like the obnoxious people that your boyfriend doesn't like. Also, just tell her no to paying and out her on an information diet with planning. You are the asshole. He wants his mom there. It's his mom, she's always going to be a part of his life, so you better start getting used to it. Also yes, your fam is obnoxious so therefore that means don't invite his mom. WTF. You are the asshole. If you aren't old enough and mature enough to deal with this, then you aren't old enough and mature enough to get married. You don't get to set a wedding list. The pair of you do. If you're not on the same page about how to handle your respective families, and who you want in your lives, and if you don't invite your mill, you're saying you want her cut out of your life in the most dramatic way possible, then you're not ready to get married. You are the asshole if you try to present it any other way. Info so he can not like members of your family and deal with it at the wedding, but you can't withstand his mother? My boyfriend doesn't like certain people in my family for this reason because he grew up in a household that is composed and quiet. I dunno. None of those reasons seem to me like enough to ask a mother to not attend her son's wedding. Sounds like you need to have a conversation with her about your concerns, that you won't have her meddle with the planning, but still let her come. You can't control how she'll feel about your family either. I had a large, loud family too. My in-laws left the reception early. I wasn't offended and glad they made an appearance. You are the asshole you don't sound mature enough to be married. Also, karma's a b alienate her from her son because you feel judged for her not liking you as a teen and being low class, and watch the universe give you the same gift via one of your kids in 20 years. Your kid won't see any issue with it because you'll have taught them that it's okay to dump a parent who's a good person, because they make your spouse feel insecure about their upbringing. You are the asshole. You can't cut his mom out of seeing her son get married and think you will have any kind of relationship with her. You describe her as being overbearing, etc., and then describe your own family as obnoxious, but they are invited. Reality check. His mom now approves of you, but you've got a grudge going back to earlier times and you are going to make her pay. Your boyfriend should be able to handle his mom. But you both agree he has no backbone? The problem with his mom, then, is your boyfriend who can't draw boundaries. He can't say no to you either, right? If you sit her down, then you should also be sitting your obnoxious family down and telling them what you expect. Info. How does he feel about this? Is he vetoing any members of your family? How do you expect her to force her way into paying for your wedding? Am I the asshole for telling the little girl I nanny that I love her? I'm a nanny, 3 female and 7 Malio F. I've been nannying for them since the 3-yo was 2 weeks. So about 4 Malio ago the 3-yo started telling me she loved me. When she would tell me she loved me, I'd tell her I loved her too, and her mommy and daddy also loved her. She had so many people who loved her so much, then we would name all those people. I realize that these girls are not mine, however I spend 12 hours with them 5 days a week. Every other Saturday for 6 hours and one weekend, Friday night, Sunday night. A month, so I truly do love them and I don't feel like it's a surprise that they would love me too. The other day she came up to me and told me that I was her real mommy because I was always there, not her mommy. I told her that I loved her so much, but her mommy loved her even more, that's why she always went to work so she could buy her all kinds of things to show her how much she loved her. I told her that even if we do spend a lot of time together, that doesn't mean I'm her mommy, that just means we're like best friends. She kinda nodded and went on and played. I was planning on telling her mom about the conversation, but that night her sister came and picked up the girls and took them back to her house because their mom was gonna have a late night. I got to work the next morning and her mom was livid. She said she'd watched the cameras back and heard my conversation with 3-yo and that I shouldn't have even had that conversation with her. She told me that it wasn't my place to be telling her why her mommy worked all the time, but I should have just ignored it. She then told me that it was my fault that she even thought I loved her like a mom would because I told her that I loved her all the time. That I shouldn't ever tell her child that I love her. I was literally appalled at what she was saying. I thought my response to it was an okay response. It definitely could have been better, but I was completely caught off guard. Her mom has been really cold to me since then, and so I asked my sister about it. My sister also works a lot of hours and her kids spend about the same amount of time with their nanny, so I thought she might be a good judge. My sister said I was 100% an asshole and that I shouldn't question whether I'm in the wrong, that there's nowhere on earth where that would be okay. She said if she'd heard one of her kids have that convo with her nanny, she would fire the nanny on the spot. She said it's my job to take care of them, to feed them, bathe them, take them to the park, and take them to play dates, that's it. It's not my job to love them or pretend to be their mom. She said my first mistake was ever telling 3-yo that I loved her. I don't feel like I was in the wrong here, but maybe I was. I apologized to her mom and told her I was planning on telling her what she said, but I just hadn't seen her yet. She said that wasn't a good enough excuse and she's likely going to fire me because what I did was inexcusable. So, Reddit, am I the asshole? I'm a nanny. Your employer and sister are idiots and bordering on emotionally neglectful parenting because they feel insecure in their roles as mothers because society has said being a mother looks a certain way. Screw them. Screw that. Love those babies. NTA. Not the asshole. I'm genuinely shocked that you taking care of that child with so much love is met with scorn. You're not pretending to be the child's mom. You even told her that you and her are best friends. You're not trying to replace the mother here. The fact that the child loves you must means that you're doing a great job. In my opinion, you handled that situation perfectly. The mother was probably hurt over what her daughter said. She'll get over it. And your sister, well, seems like she's projecting a whole lot. Woman shrugging, medium skin tone. Not the asshole, and what a weird thing to throw down on. Like, having more people love and care for your children should be a blessing. Not the asshole. You're very sweet and the mom is overreacting in insecurity that her child called you her real mommy. If she fires you over it, so be it. It's her loss that her child will lose out on an excellent caretaker she's already comfortable with. Your sister is wrong. You didn't pretend to be her mommy and you always emphasized that her mom loves her more than you ever could. You were absolutely not the asshole. I suggest you stop apologizing to anyone about this now. You did nothing wrong. It's not your fault that the mom refuses to be logical. NTA. Who the fuck ignores a toddler when they say I love you? Why would your sister or the mom think that would be a healthy alternative to reciprocating affection? From a developmental standpoint, all I can say is yikes if they want the person who spends the most time with their children to do the job robotically without love or warmth. Not the asshole. If you'd help raise my child for 3 years and you didn't love her, I'd be appalled. You're a decent human being, and your employer is an awe. Not the asshole. I've been a nanny for many families and it's normal to be super close to those children, especially given the amount of hours you spend with them. I think the mom's reaction is coming from her feeling hurt at what her own child said. She's taking it out on you, which isn't fair at all, but it's a her thing, not a you thing. Not the asshole. I think the mom is just feeling guilty for not being there as much as you are. Am I the asshole for telling my mom to stop harassing me over a tie I bought? Hi. First of all, I'd like to apologize for any mistakes. English is not my first language. A little bit of context first. I, 24M, am a college student in my final year of law school. I suffer from a disability which forces me to use crutches to walk and prevent me from having a typical student job. After I'm done with law school, I'll be preparing a very hard competitive exam. As I won't earn any salary for 2 more years, I still live with my mother, 49F. Now for the issue. Since the end of high school I've been wearing dress shirts and ties almost daily. Whether with V-neck sweaters, suits, jackets or suits if I feel like it. I guess my tastes can be surprising for someone of my age, but my style makes me feel good and makes me feel confident. And I particularly enjoy wearing ties. I own about 25 of them. This will be important later. Some people sometimes stare at me, but most people don't seem to care, and I prefer it that way. I'm an introvert. I don't get negative remarks or anything like that, some make compliments. But my mother doesn't support my style. She says no young men are dressed like that, and that I don't need to stand out more than I do already because of my crutches. She's an amazing person, an awesome support in my life, and my style is the only tension between us. So we usually don't talk about it. Fast forward to 3 days ago. I found a tie which I really like on the internet. So, as I just finished my master thesis, I figured I could treat myself and ordered it. My mother didn't like that I bought another tie. At all. She told me I was becoming mad with those, that it looked a bit like one I already own, and that I was throwing money away. I said nothing. I was a bit surprised by this reaction, to be honest. I knew she wouldn't like it, but I didn't expect her to be mad for like 15 minutes. And she started referring to my useless purchase during the rest of the evening, saying to my brother that X item would be more useful than a tie, etc. She wouldn't stop talking about it, and well, I needed to study. At some point, I told her to stop harassing me over a tie, that I had a really long day at uni and that I had some things to do. She told me I was being disrespectful and that I could at least admit my purchase was useless. I refused to, and she seemed to move on. But I still feel terrible, and I might be the asshole. I don't think I should apologize for a gift I purchased with my disability allowance, and I really don't see how it could bother her. But at the same time, I know I quickly lost it as well, and, well, she may be right. Maybe I am standing out. Maybe 25 ties is too much. And maybe my style could be seen as really weird by other people. I don't know where to stand. I think I did nothing wrong, but at the same time, I didn't have to get angry like that, and well, she may be right, I don't know. Am I the asshole? Not the asshole. As a lawyer you need ties, and you wear them every day. I can understand that your mother finds it's useless, but you also need it for your job later. Not the asshole. I'm sure your mom makes pointless purchases of clothing or makeup items she wants to fit her style. She has no right to judge. Also, it's pretty blind of her not to recognize that maybe you'd rather stand out for being well dressed than because of your physical ailment. If people are going to look at you anyway, who wouldn't want to control the narrative of why people are looking and make it somewhat of a choice? Not the asshole. Does your mom have other stuff going on that could be stressing her out? If she's awesome and supportive everywhere else, it might be time to sit down and see what, exactly, is bugging her. If it is that she just doesn't agree with your style of dress, maybe time to discuss boundaries regarding what you are and aren't comfortable with her commenting on. Not the asshole. If ties make you feel good and you wanted it, no problem with buying a new one to treat yourself and boost your confidence. If you have or take a photo, I'd love to see your tie collection. I love ties myself. Not the asshole. It's your style, your comfort zone, your way of feeling confident and happy. Our dressing reflects for most of us how we're feeling, and how we want to portray ourselves and feel about ourselves. Even otherwise, it's your choice. I am sure your mother has articles of clothing she loves and feels same way about. Just because she doesn't like your style doesn't mean she can force it on you. You're an adult, and in fact you're dressing professionally and very smart. She should be encouraging you. Not the asshole. Some people get fixated on what you should do, how you should act and how you should feel. They completely ignore that they are just being assholes because they are the boss of you, and when you don't do everything they say they just go on and on and on, and on, until you admit that they are right just to shut them up. She is using the Chinese water torture on you to get you to admit that you have too many ties, in her opinion. You could have 100, 1,000, they don't take up that much room and they make you happy. She doesn't like how a 24-year-old dresses, when they take the time to look nice. That is her problem and she needs to get over deciding what you wear. That time ended up when you graduated out of short pants at 12. Not the asshole. Dress how you like. Use your own money to buy the things you want to buy. And if buying this tie was pointless, and doing pointless things makes you an asshole, I'd be the biggest asshole there is. Okay, so I'm that anyway, but I'd be the biggest asshole there is for entirely different reasons. Maybe I need to rethink this comment. Not the asshole. She needs to stop infantilizing you. You are an adult and can make your own financial and sartorial choices.